Join Tim and Kristina Madden, co-founders of Executive Career Upgrades, on their podcast, the Executive Career Upgrades Podcast. As an executive in today's highly competitive job market, it can be tough to succeed. However, with Tim's nationally recognized career advice and Kristina's mindset expertise, you can reach your full potential. Tune in to upgrade your career and get ahead of the competition.
All right, we are live. Hey, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Kristina is unfortunately out. She's traveling to Ohio today. Unfortunately, her grandfather is not doing well. So prayers to her if you can. We'd really appreciate it. But to get started, hey, welcome to the Career Upgrades Podcast. I will be your host today, Tim Madden. If you don't know us, we help professionals, right? Directors, VPs, and executives help with all things career. Okay. And we got an exciting topic for you today. Hey, we go live each week on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and inside the Executive Career Network on Facebook. Check us out. We're at almost 11,000 members. And if you're tuning in live, let me know in the comments. I'm by myself today, but I promise you I am monitoring the chat. Or you might be listening to this, as we upload to iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Google, basically everywhere on the internet. So do me a favor. As always, hey, if I give you anything of value today, an aha moment, share this with a friend, right? This could be what they need to hear to have a career breakthrough. And of course, hey, leave us a review over on iTunes or Spotify. We would really appreciate it. So, hey, to get started, we got the book. It's so funny, man, writing a book. Let me know in the chat if you've ever wrote a book before, but it is a decent amount of work, right? Finding someone to help you, publishing it, getting your story straight, right? It's funny. I actually look back at episodes, and I originally started talking about this on episode 70, I believe. So here we are, right? Episode 90 now. The book's finally done, and it's actually coming out next Wednesday. So if you're on our email list or you follow me on any of the social media platforms, hey, be on the lookout, because I know this book will absolutely help you have a breakthrough in your career. Before we get started, though, one of the main reasons, I got into this, became a headhunter, worked for organizations, started Executive Career Upgrades, done all these things, is because I had a problem, right? I've had to figure this out on my own. And it was a very difficult point in my life, right? Because as I was transitioning out of the military, many of you, right, if you've been working the same job a long time, you're not sure what to do. You're just kind of lost on, should I do this or that? Or how do I get a hold of these people? Or how do these interviews? How do I talk about money? All of these things, right, is something that unfortunately I had to learn the painful way, right, of just going out there and basically figuring it out. So I want to get the information from the people that have it, right, to the people that need it, as my man Bradley says. So, hey, definitely check out this book. It's actually most of the stuff we cover in our career program here at Executive Career Upgrades. So you're definitely, if you're looking for interview strategies, how to get on interviews, how to be more confident on those interviews, highly recommend you check out this book. And hey, when it does go live next Wednesday, I made it the cheapest price Amazon allows. $5. So for $5, you could have a true career breakthrough, learning my story, and more importantly, what I did to go get the job and money that I deserve. And that's actually what we're talking about today as well. So before that, of course, hey, if you need help in your career in any facet, go to execupgrades.com/podcast, schedule a call with our team to see if we can possibly help you have a career breakthrough as well. All right, let's get started. Episode 90. Today we're talking about, episode 90, the power shift, building, how to be fearless and disciplined in your executive career. If I had to think of one freaking skill that we need, right, to continually accelerate our career, get the job and money we want, lead our teams effectively, all of those things, it would literally boil down to one thing: having discipline, right? And that's what we're actually going to be talking about today. So discipline is a critical factor in career advancement. We all know that, right? It involves creating a plan and sticking to it. Discipline helps us avoid distractions, stay towards our focus goals, and overcome some challenges that typically come our way. Okay. But really, I like my, thanks Chanel and hi, Dr. Ford. Nice to see you guys. But what it is what is discipline, right? Because so many people like get this like messed up, right? So I've come up with kind of my own definition, right? And it's doing the stuff that we know that we typically dislike doing, whatever it may be, but we know it's good for us. That is basically what I feel discipline is, right? Doing the stuff that I know is hard, that I know is monotonous, that I know is whatever, right? Something not ideal, but I know if I do that, I will get some type of result that I'm seeking. And what's really interesting is over the last couple of days, I've been trying to approach things kind of differently when I'm making decisions just in my life, right? And the way I've been trying to approach them is if I'm caught up of thinking about something, right? If I'm caught up thinking about, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I go ahead? Right? Whatever they are, I'm not going to get into the little bit. Yeah, you can just drop it at the door. Thanks. So drop it at the door.
I'm Patty from next door.
Yeah. So guys, I'm doing a podcast right now. I'm not available. Sorry. So guys, what we're going to do is, what you need, sorry about that, guys. I got people running through my office. So what you need to make the decision on, okay, is this going to help your present self or your future self? So think about that for a second. Think about the things you have on your calendar today. Think about the things you have on the calendar tomorrow, right? Think about the things you're going to do before work, after work, okay? And say, are these things I'm doing satisfying what I want presently, or are they satisfying things I need to do to help me in the future? Right? So, hey, sleeping in, right? That absolutely helps the present self. Can we all agree that that doesn't really help the future self? Right? So like, what is it for you, right? What are things you're doing right now that you know are not serving you? How do we start to make that shift into do the things that we know are not ideal, right? But we know we need to do them, whether it's networking, whether it's self-development, whatever it is, just making yourself better every single day. So I challenge you before we get started to think about, hey, as you're thinking about what you're doing, right? Does this impact my future self, or is it just my present self? Okay. Hey, and disclaimer, I don't have all this figured out. I love some of my Netflix shows and my Amazon shows, etc., right? But I make sure each day I'm doing things that are absolutely going to push me forward, regardless if I want to do them or not. So as we get started, right? We all know I'm going to run through these because I talk about these things a lot. But when you're getting started, you have to have goals. If not, what are you aiming for? If you don't have goals, absolutely nothing's going to happen. If you follow any of our podcasts, we talk about goal setting a lot. So we're going to skip over this one for now. But it's just, hey, you have to clearly define short and long-term goals. Otherwise, we don't even know what we're aiming towards, okay? Number two, of course, we have to prioritize them. We have to make them important. We have to identify some of these important tasks and responsibilities that align with our goals, and then prioritize our time through time management or what have you, okay? And then we have to create a routine. Establish a daily routine that incorporates key activities such as strategic planning, goal review, getting some fitness in, self-development, learning, networking, execution, right? Stick to your schedule as much as possible to maintain consistency. Now, I will tell you, when you're getting started doing something new, it is a huge pain to continually get, right, that consistency. But frequently, and the easiest analogy is just working out and eating right. Like, let's handle the simple stuff before we attack something difficult and very complex like a career search, right? I have basically non-negotiables in my life, right? What are your non-negotiables? What do you not do, right? Here's some things I typically don't do anymore. I hardly ever have any type of alcoholic beverages unless I'm at an event, hanging out with family, or I'm on potentially some type of date night or something, right? It's pretty rare, right? Non-negotiable. I don't do it because I know I can't be the best version of myself waking up with the hangover. And for most of you listening, hey, if you're 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, it's very hard for you to operate with the hangover, right? It's like impossible, right? So I already know, hey, present self, future self. Hey, I'm looking out for my future self because I need to be the person that I know I can be. Okay. So you got to have this routine. Okay. Next, how do we start practicing this though with these non-negotiables, right? One thing that helps for me, if it's on my calendar, I stick to it. The only time I move something off my calendar, even outside of work that's important, is if something comes up that is a bigger priority. That's it. But I'll tell you, every single day, me and Kristina both, right? We both get our workouts in early in the morning, non-negotiable. Every single day at 7 o'clock, I am in the gym, period, end of story, Monday through Saturday, non-negotiable for Tim Madden. Do I like going? Typically not. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a guy that, I served 23 years in the military. I'm never a guy that says, oh my God, I can't wait to get to the gym, right? It's just something I don't do. So how can we start practicing self-discipline? Okay. We have to cultivate self-discipline by setting personal standards for ourselves. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever said, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, these are things I absolutely don't do, these are people I don't hang out with, these are places I don't go, and this is the stuff that I do? And then do you hold yourself accountable for them? Don't think you're the only one who doesn't if you haven't, okay? People really struggle with this. And fortunately, I'm behind the curtains here at Executive Career Upgrades. We help people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, last year over $1 million, that still struggle with these concepts, okay? So don't think if you're just getting started and you're finding it difficult that you're the only one feeling this way, okay? It's hard to start anything new, okay? Now, with that discipline, okay, you need to, back to time management, you have to maximize work-life balance because discipline extends beyond these minuscule tasks, right? So how do we maintain this healthy work-life balance? Present self, future self. I have to set boundaries. I have to prioritize self-care. I have to dedicate time to personal relationship, external business relationships, hobbies, and activities that recharge me, right? This balance ensures your overall well-being and productivity, okay? If you've seen some of the most successful people I follow, there's typically 4 things that they do every single day. Let me see if I can remember. They definitely get their workout in. They definitely do something with some type of faith. They definitely execute on their business tax or something in business, self-development, etc. And they make it a point to connect and collaborate with other people at their level or above. These are things you should be doing every day, not just when you need them, right? And if you're approaching a job search right now and getting a little bit of rejection, if you're by yourself, not getting up early, not structured, not taking care of yourself, not this, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're going to have an extremely difficult journey. There's so many things that go into the job search, or say you're at a company, just being a better leader. To start being a better leader, you have to do the things that you know are going to push you forward, not the stuff that's going to give you immediate, instant gratification. And with those goals we talked about immediately setting to figure out what are you even aiming for, the other thing that most people don't do is they don't track it. They don't regularly review our progress towards that goal, analyze our performance, identify areas of improvement, make the adjustments, right, to our strategies or actions, right? Or they don't celebrate milestones and successes along the way. These things will help you stay on target. This is what everyone struggles with. I talk about this in the book. I talk about it being my biggest problem is I've been doing this for a long time, 20 years, okay? But my biggest problem was, and I talk about it in the book in detail, is just my whole life I've almost been, up until, 7 years ago, consistently inconsistent, right? I do what I know is going to, help my future self, right? I know it's going to help my future self, and I'll do it, and then I'll stop and I'll fall off the wagon, whatever it is, fitness, you know, going out too much, having too many drinks, whatever it may be. Okay. Inconsistently consistent. So now what I'm trying to build a life of is being consistently consistent. Okay. Making sure I'm doing the things in the morning that's going to help me during the day, making sure I'm executing on those priority tasks, making sure the end of my day is relaxing and allows me to be recharged, whatever that is for you, right? This is important to figure this out. And along this line, you have to seek support. We've talked about coaches, programs, or just great books out there. Okay. So you need to surround yourself with mentors, coaches, or like-minded professionals who can provide guidance, support, accountability, and engage in some of these professional networks that you have to learn from others' experiences. But when we talk about discipline, Kristina has a book coming out too, by the way, that literally marries up with mine. It talks about how to be fearless. Okay. How to be fearless. And I think most people don't even take the time to understand, right, their fears. They don't take the time to reflect on their fears, understand where they come from. Why am I feeling this way? And then recognize that these fears are rooted in uncertainty, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of whatever it is. But by understanding some of these sources of the fears, you can start to address and overcome them. Because you need to embrace every failure as a learning opportunity. You know, here at ECU, we have people that, you know, make it to final rounds of interviews and for whatever reason, you know, aren't selected. And it just, you know, for some of those people, it just wipes them out for a couple days, right? They don't have any energy. They're feeling all this rejection and everything else. And fortunately, I've been doing this long enough and I've met extreme rejection in my life. Let me know in the comments if you're watching live, if you've ever went through anything that was kind of difficult in your life, right? Got some rejection. But I truly know that if I keep pushing and I keep trying to do great things, I'm going to be met with resistance and rejection. So you have two options. Deal with it and push forward and know that the more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes, or just let it completely debilitate you. What do you think is going to serve you in the future? Okay. To do this, you need to start visualizing success. Visualize yourself overcoming these fears, succeeding in the face of some of these challenges, and create a mental image of yourself confidently navigating all these difficult situations. Visualization helps reframe our mindset and increase your belief in your abilities, which is why every day and on every podcast, what book do I got over here, right? I have my book where I write down my vision. Where is Tim Madden going? Where am I trying to be in 10 years, in 20 years? Shouldn't I make it a priority to look at that every day, right? What I'm trying to do, the person I'm trying to be, what I want to do in the community, the people I want to help, the impact I want to have. How can you possibly hope to do something great in this life when we don't have discipline to do the stuff that we know is good for us, and the fear, right, that we don't think it's ever going to happen, we don't think we're good enough, etc. So I challenge you to challenge these negative thoughts, because fear is only fueled by negative thoughts and self-doubt. So you have to challenge those thoughts by focusing on evidence of your capabilities and past successes. Evidence, undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. I tell the clients here at ECU, you see my office, just what's behind me, right? Got my MBA over here. I was in a magazine, got this award for marketing from ClickFunnels, have all these military awards over here, have everything I've done for my career, right? Because I need to be surrounded by this stuff. Because I know that no matter what you do, if you're a customer service executive, a finance executive, right, that you're going to feel some types of ways during the day. Surround yourself by your past successes to help you get through this. And replace some of this negative self-talk with positive affirmations and remind yourself of your strengths and weaknesses. That's why I love having this stuff around. I'm like, we got a business challenge. We got this challenge in our life. I look back and I look at my deployments when I was overseas, all of the things I had to overcome. And I'm like, man, comparatively to that, this stuff's a piece of cake. So if you're feeling some type of way, trying to overcome something in your life right now, hey, take your attention maybe off like what's in front of you and reflect for a second. Think of the hardest freaking thing you've ever had to overcome in your life. Did you overcome it? Probably. Okay. How does that stack up to what you're currently dealing with? It's probably a piece of cake, right? The biggest thing with discipline or being fearless is you have to take action. Ultimately, fearlessness comes from taking action despite your fears. That's actually what like being a hero means, right? Or being someone with confidence is taking action knowing that I'm a little fearful. Remember, I shared with you 2 weeks on the podcast, hey, unsuccessful people are looking for the perfect situation to start something, right? Hey, I've kind of been falling off my fitness. I know it's July, but January 1st, new year, new me. In Q4, I'm going to go get that job in this and this. Okay. But ultimately, that's fear holding you back. So you have to break tasks or goals into manageable steps and take consistent action towards them. As you take action, you build momentum and realize that you're capable of facing and overcoming these challenges. The problem is people never do stuff long enough to get any freaking results. They work out for a little bit, eat good for a little bit, try their job search for a little bit. They do all this stuff a little bit, and they're worried why they're not like the top CEO who has everything. I encourage you to go read their stories. Read stories of the most successful people in business today. I follow Elon Musk, right? No matter what you think about him, he has 5 companies that are over $1 billion. The guy's a genius. But I remember, you don't think he went through tough times? There's a time when I think it was, what was it? It was Tesla and SpaceX, right? Where he had a funding issue. And he basically said, if I took all my money, I could probably keep one alive. But if I split my money, it'd be extremely risky. But he said, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into these companies. And he was like, I feel like they're my children. So I pushed past the fear. I split the money and they made it happen. Do you think that was a difficult decision for him? Do you think these difficult decisions ever go away in your life? They don't. Because as soon as you solve them, it's on to the next thing. That's why every day, let me tell you how I approach problems, right? As we continue to build different businesses, Kristina and I, we're met with lots of challenges, right? Like all of these different things, all of the normal stuff that happens in business. Here's how Tim Madden approaches problems. When I come into the office and I'm like, problem, I'm like, bring it on, bring all the problems. Because I know when I solve them, I'm going to come out a better person. All the organizations are going to be better and we're going to be able to help more people. So bring on all the problems. Let's figure out how to solve them. Is that how you approach problems? Or do you approach it like, woe is me. Look at my situation. I'm destined for a life of despair. Food for thought. Remember, fearlessness and discipline. Well, just fearlessness does not mean the absence of fear. It means acknowledging your fears and choosing to move forward despite them. It's a gradual process that requires constant attention, practice, and perseverance. And by adopting these strategies, you can start to develop some of these new mindsets so you can pursue your goals with confidence. And let me just wrap up here on one thing. I love it. Bring on the problems. Thank you, chat. But one more thing too. If you're slacking with self-confidence, let me tell you where it comes from, okay? Self-confidence comes from, because it's just confidence in yourself, right? That's what confidence is. It's how I feel about myself when we're really getting into the weeds, right? So start regaining self-confidence. You have to keep promises to yourself. If you tell your kids you're going to do something, your spouse, if you say you're going to do this or that, or get up early or do whatever, no matter what you say, you have to keep the promises to yourself. Because if you don't, if I make a promise and then I break it, what does that tell myself? I can't trust me, man. If you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? On this episode, I hope I provided some practical tips on how to instill some more discipline in your career and start building that fearless mindset. Because when you have both of these working for you, that does not cost you anything, okay? Doesn't cost you anything. It just requires a commitment to get better. When you have both of these things in your career, I assure you, you will unlock everything that's waiting for you. Now go get yours. Have a great week, everyone. See you next week.